try and play this music again. I swear I can play this thing. Okay, that's good enough. We'll try again after lunch. Top of the morning to you, laddies. My name's Man Buck. Welcome to the old style farming series, aka Uncle Buck is back. This is not connected to the Murphy Bros, but for you guys that loved that old style farming that Grant and I did from the 60s and 70s series, this is a little idea I decided to pitch together. Pretty much it's going to be a solo act, but it's exactly what it sounds like. You guys see up in the top right hand corner, I only have $5,100 to my name. This is going to be a relatively fun little series. I'll give you guys kind of a little bit of a farm tour, what we got going on here. But I have brought back one thing from the Uncle Buck side of things. So we got a little bit of two machine sheds. This is our like heated one, pretty much keeps everything nice. And we got two cold storage, but that one's more of a workshop, older barn. Then we got our Quonset. As you guys can see right here, we have field 35, 36, and 47. Now, 36 is huge. I had to buy that so I can mow my backyard, which is really, really sad. But to clear all that out, we're definitely going to be taking care of like field 35 here. 47 is going to be kind of fun. We'll clear all these out, and then we'll start going to the regular crops that we all know and love, which leads us to the equipment. What do we have rolling around here? Well, I'll tell you exactly what we got rolling around here. This is actually our sprayer, so we got a little John Deere 250, and that is going to be towed by a very specific tractor. And I wanted to use that tractor today just because of the fact it's a little bit different. I've actually never seen one that sits like this. With the operation, the 5020 has made its return, but I made some slight modifications of what I would like to have had on the tractor beforehand. Now I got a little bit of like hinker fenders, or just the plastic fenders up here on the front wheel well, as well as a brand new set of rear tires. So nice big actual duals that I love to look at instead of the other ones that were on there. The Firestones, yes, they look nice, but the rims I just didn't really care for. The 4030 here, this is the sprayer tractor. That's what's going to be pulling our sprayer. We got a 2388 axial flow combine from Case. And then on the other side of the shop, through these doors right here, we have a Sperry New Holland skid steer. So we're kind of just, like I said, we're running old stuff. Got a little Honda 4Trax, along with a small little ATV trailer. So when I need to go cut up firewood, I need to just go take stuff around the farm, transport stuff, we can do that. It's not like it's going to be a huge process. So we ended up getting the sprayer filled up here. But when I took a look over at field 35, I didn't even really realize it, but this stuff's actually ready to harvest over here. So we actually can get a harvest going right away. So we're actually going to pull out the axial flow as well as the 5020, and we're actually going to do a little bit of harvesting today. So you guys are in for a little treat. And we're going to get ourselves popped over to this field, which I think I might just try and get to from this corner. If not, I'm going to wrap back around down the street. But nope, I think I can reach it right here. Yes, indeed I can. So let's run into the shop, go grab the case. Let's get to harvesting. Everything seemed to be running very smoothly. I haven't had very many hiccups with the combine yet. Derek said he was running just fine as well, and I ended up cutting this last pass down here, as well as I cleaned up our little edge spot here on the south side, on the north side of the field. So we're gonna have Derek go back and forth here again. Watch out for the cars. Make sure we don't hit them. And here comes Derek right now. All right, Bob. We'll see you in a bit. Let's see if we can get a little bit more done here and stay on track. This keeps like slightly shifting over to the right and then going at a different angle, but so we should have gotten him figured out there. So we're going to run back up to the 5020, which the front cart I believe is completely full to the brim, over the top, spillage somewhat, and I think I might just take one last trip. I'll wait for him to dump one more time because he should be able to fill up that back cart of mine, and then we're going to take that into the store. into the elevator, and we're going to see if we can't get a little bit of our money back, even though these are going to be some dirty canola. So we're going to take this load. Since the fact we're at 96, I'm going to have to be pretty careful, and this is about the only vehicle I have that can actually tow these 2 wagons. So we're going to make a run down to that farmer's market. We're going to dump this canola out. We're going to see what we can get for a little bit of chunk change. Oh, she is heavy. Slowly over the bank here. Slowly get the carts over the edge. We're just going to have to rely on the fact that people are going to see a massive newlywed, since this does not have any sort of lights. Oh dear merciful heavens, that is going to hurt. Okay, so we're going to be negative in the funds here by the time we even get this stuff dumped. As you guys can see that glorious green beacon over there, that's where we got to go. I wonder, big enough that I can also do the other one? Yes, it is. Heck yeah. Let's make some moolah. Look at that. Almost gonna be able to afford a house payment. I'm gonna close that up. We ended up making just shy of $12,000 on that little trip right there. But I think we'll finish this out. We'll bring all the stuff back up to the sheds, and then we'll kind of reorganize our fertilizer stuff, and we might call it for the day, or at least till lunch. Because I do want to get a bite to eat, as I am starving. Got a few O-rings go out. I guess that puts that down for a little bit. Top of the morning, dear laddies. My name's Buck. Welcome back to the old school series. So today we have to run a couple different errands, taking the rest of that canola load back into town, go get that dumped off so we can make just a little bit extra money. I do also have to get tillage going, and I'm going to be signing a contract deal with the county. They want to reconstruct this corner. They won't be able to do it till later this later, possibly early spring, maybe even early summer, give or take. But that corner down there is just way too sharp. They say they can leave the one area, but they want to know if they can cut into mine, because especially with the bigger equipment, there's just some problematic stuff. So I'd have to clear out a couple of those birch trees. But this is all going to be tilled up. I'm going to be turning this field, actually, I've decided, into hay ground. So this will be my grass fields. And we haven't gotten anything started yet on the sorghum right here. We got sorghum. I got my fields all messed up. So this was canola, this was sorghum, and then the field up on top, which I believe is 47, that one is sunflowers. So we got to wait for the sorghum to pop up here so we can start harvesting, which will probably be tomorrow because it's only August, but let's kind of get right into it. Like I said, that's going to get tilled up, and we're going to bring out a cedar or something. We're going to get that planted as grass. But we're going to have to order some O-rings for the header on that, as it seems to be that we blew a seal on the lines going to the reel. So either way, we just need to make some money, because as of right now, all we're doing is losing money. I've already swapped out my hitch in the back for the pin hitch, so we should be set to go on that. The nice thing about these carts is that they're not very, very heavy, but definitely I'm only going to be towing one with this truck, and it's also not, fully loaded. So we're going to head into town. We're going to get this dropped off, make a few extra ching-chang, and then we're going to pop back and we'll start doing a little bit of tillage in that field. We got our first initial loop done. What I kind of am trying to do now is I'm going to section off this little spot, because what I believe the county said they want to do is they want to start about 20 trees in, and then they're going to roll it as an even bend around here, and they're probably going to grade some of that off, going off the top side of this hill, as there's a lot of runoff that goes down onto that corner, which is just why the washboards are so rough down here. I mean, look at the grade that this goes from. I mean, watching out for traffic. It literally goes straight down. I mean, this is probably as rough as it gets right here. I mean, the washboards are just terrible. So I think they want to start about 20, like I said, 20 trees down, and I believe about maybe to the 4th or 5th tree up to here, probably closer to the 4th, and they're going to round that as just a nice, smooth, fresh gravel, white rock And then this will just be graded out and smoothened out, so at least the people that are still going here for regular flow of traffic, then it won't be nearly as rough. At least the runoff and the washboards hopefully won't be as bad, because then the tractors and agriculture and even just people in general can start taking that rounded corner and not having to slow so fast to get up that hill. So I'm going to head a pass that goes down here, just kind of clear out this little bit of an area so that way the county can have a really nice spot to start surveying. Okay, so we got that cleared out. That looks at least good for what we need to do right now. We're going to get into this, of course, here in just a bit. But I'm thinking about what I'm going to need to... And by probably need to start looking into ads and whatnot. I think a tree mulch is going to be the best course of action for this, because I really don't want to move any of these. I did not plant a majority of these trees as I acquired this field. This is like my most recent field I acquired. Those have already been there from the previous owner. They tried to make it almost be like a snow fence, but it's just becoming more of a pain right now because of, again, with the machinery that's going through these areas now, it's just bad. So I think we'll probably get a mulcher so it can just take out a line of those trees and get that out of the way so this can start getting under construction. One thing I'm loving about this tractor is the sheer openness of the cab. Now, I know that I'm breathing in a heck of a lot of dust, but just to be able to just kind of like, you know, peek over the side of the fender and you can easily see what the heck you're doing, it just absolutely makes this job 20 times easier. But I think now we just might start doing a little bit of loopage, as the majority of the spots that I needed to just kind of go back and forth with, that stuff's been mainly cleared out. This stuff up here is usually pretty easy to work with. Kind of doing circles makes it easier to do the end rows up here. Even though I don't have a huge planter, I usually like to do about 2 end rows with my planter, just for the fact that it gets me that extra turnaround room when it comes time to harvest. Makes it a lot easier to get around. So that finishes that up. I want to check the condition of these discs. Like I said, they were just getting eaten alive. Hey, it's not grand, but that is really starting to get dull. That one's all chipped up, so I think I'll be able to make it a little bit longer with those discs, but I'm going to have to get something here within the next few years at least. If not by sometime next season, if we can do really well with side jobs, because I might start looking for some contract deals to help out with some of the guys in my area so far, whether that's just transporting stuff since I have the trailers and whatnot, or even help them do some harvesting or planting or even cultivating. Doesn't necessarily matter, but I'm going to need to start doing some stuff to get some money, because I am going to be running dry if I don't start making some money. I'm going to leave that there for right now. We're going to go check out that hay rack from Landon. We'll catch you guys once we get to his place. So you were saying you wanted... Oh. You dropped your pet cow. Oh, I got $1,000 off that? Sweet. Thanks, bud. But you said you want $3,000 for this thing, right? Can you take off 1,000? I'll give you back your 1,000 for the trailer here. The 2,000 for the trailer and the bale supply, because I was kind of taking a look at it a little bit earlier. Don't have dry rot on there at all, so that's at least solid. Do you know how... I'll probably have to redo the bed on this, because the wood's kind of it kind of needs new wood. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely do $2,000 for it if you want. Like I said, I got you're giving me $1,000 for a toy cow. I'll definitely give you that 1,000 back for 3,000. Thanks, Landon. Have a good one, bud. We'll see. Might have to stop by and see how the operation's going with that thing. I'll probably get it all nice and purdied up sometime. So Landon's a pretty chill guy. He, like I said, we agreed on $3,000, but I don't know why he gave me $1,000 for a toy cow. But long story short, that saved me $1,000 on the entire purchase of what we're doing. So it just seems like it's riding really rough. So I might be checking the wheel bearings to see whether or not something might, either like the hub's loose or something's just not tightened, or if it's just worn out. Because this trailer is pretty beat up. I think we might be able to store it probably back here with all the other trailers. I'll kind of pull it around back. Oh shoot, I forgot to put that there. Kind of sneak this around. I like how I bought a round barrel trailer for a square baler. I didn't think that through, did I? Okay, sorry guys. It's about 6 o'clock in the afternoon right now. I've been on the phone all afternoon with the bank. Lots happened. I went over to my buddies at Prairie State. I had to, in essence, lease rent one of the 1590 seed drills they had sitting out there. This is a used one. I got it for $800 for 2 days, so I can at least get the field that is over yonder on the other side of the fence. I want to plant that grass. Like I said, I want to make it my hay field, so we're going to do that tomorrow, as I am not about to plant that whole thing tonight. But we're going to get the New Holland unloaded here probably in the morning. I'm just going to head into the house, get this stuff set up tomorrow. Hopefully our sorghum doesn't grow overnight, and we'll have to go hit that, because I still haven't gotten my O-rings yet for the case. I had to go talk to Titan Machinery on that. But I'm going to go to bed. We'll catch you guys here in the morning, and we're going to get to planting some grass. So, yeah. I'm going to do something. Don't watch me. You guys totally did not see anything of that, okay? Oh! Oh, okay. Might be a good idea to run a herbicide through that first. I think we'll be fine. We'll let that till it up, and we'll get around a herbicide on it here within the next few weeks once it starts sprouting through. So far, so good. I think this is probably going to take a little bit longer than disking this place, for the fact that, well, we obviously know that this isn't as wide, nor am I going as fast, but I think this is probably going to be the best decision I can choose for this whole scenario. So we're going to keep on planting some grass here, and we'll catch you guys probably once we get back. Alright, so we just finished... Alright, so we finally finished up getting that field sown up, ready to go for grass. Sorghum is pretty much showing that it's ready to go as well, so that'll probably have to be something I do either later this afternoon. I might kick into that, or I'll wait until tomorrow, because I will have to get this cleaned up and taken it back. And like I thought, I had about 30% left in the tank, and I guess it didn't take nearly as much as I thought it would to get that planted, so... Telling you, man. Every third sunset on this game is slower. But with that, top of the morning to you, laddies. My name is the Rental Man Buck. Welcome back to FS22. I am still trying to look for my socket wrench that I can't seem to find. And the other thing that I can't seem to find is a working header for that combine. That combine is just shredding. I don't know what is going on here. The combine works fine. The header keeps having seals go out. I've replaced lines. There's just been splices. I can't figure out why this header just does not want to work out there. So I've been on the phone with the bank all day. We've been trying to get approved for a loan, see if I can't sell that off on, I put about $160 worth of advertisements. We got 90,000 liters of sorghum in our flat bottom bin right now, trying to keep things in order. Long story short, we're going to be trying to sell that header anywhere we can to get some money, because I'm going to invest in a 25-foot header for this combine. I need to get this field done, because as we can go into our little, great things of showing how long we can harvest still, by the end of tonight, sorghum's out of the question. We're not going to be able to harvest it. I don't even want to think about having to do the sunflower right now, just because of the fact I'm still trying to figure out how to get this much sorghum done with this tiny header. It's going to just take forever. I've already gotten this, and this took pretty much almost all weekend and half of last week, so we're going to have to just grunt this one out, because I got money that I can at least try and do something. So we're going to get on the phone, get a couple things sold here, get the new header out, something so I can get this field done tonight, because it's towards the end of September. I only got a couple hours to make this happen, so we'll catch you guys in a little bit. This is gonna be a process. So my apologies, guys. The time obviously doesn't look like it, but after a stressful amount of phone calls and bankers just up my rear end, we finally acquired a used 25-foot header. I got about 15,000 trade-in value for the old header. I told them the problem, so they're going to give me about 15 grand for it. This header I picked up for 26, so I got myself a $10,000 loan, and of course my worker is just going to run over the sunflowers. But another thing that's new to the farm, this was another trade deal. This was to save a little bit of money. I sold off the Killsborough wagons in shape for some Parker wagons. They're just a hair bit bigger, but they're also a little bit older and a little bit more worn. I sold the Killsborough to my neighbor, as he had 2 sets of these, and he wanted to get those Killsborough just for they're a little bit more practical size for his farm. I'm just still trying to build up to where I can, of course, get something that's nicer, but the 50-20's just been a brute so far. He's been the number one choice that I've had for power. What I want to do is eventually make enough to sell off the 40-30 and turn that in, and the Massey Ferguson for a 78-10 deer if I can come across one. So to say that I'm short on cash is an understatement. But I also have to get that field lined, and probably this one too, as they're lacking hard right now in nutrients. Let me actually check my PDA on that. So field 35 is going to need lime. Of course, I didn't send this guy in a straight path, and he's just going to cut a random line and miss an entire section, but you know what? That's fine. We're going to be harvesting late into the night, and now that I don't have an extension on that case, he's going to fill up a lot faster. So all I can say is this is going to be one long day. We're going to try on the go here. Oh, never mind. I'm almost full anyway. So we'll just top it off here, and then we're going to head to the bin site where the Ford is waiting for us to dump into the bin. There we go. We are full. He should be able to make it to the end. Should. Oh, the deer is chugging along. It is struggling a little. Have no fear. The 50-20's lower gear is here. I currently really like this setup because obviously it's pretty straightforward. The Ford is hooked up to the Westfield, going directly into the Westnall bin. I got to get this over to here. Hopefully that goes out far enough. Which I don't think it does. Nope, I did not get close enough. Of course I didn't. You gotta like run over the chute because of the duals on this thing, which kind of sucks. Don't mind me just running over my auger. Oh, you know, it helps when you turn the tractor on. That might help. I'd like to take a very big second and just note how much bigger the 5020 is compared to this 3600. And that gear's actually not even that big. Like, I've stood next to one of these things, well, laid down, and you guys can see right there, I'm not very big, but I look just right for this tractor's size. Seems to be got a good flow, and our money is still dropping, meaning he's, of course, he's charging us to sit there. That sounds about right. We'll get on the move, and of course he's sitting on the wrong side. But let's get back on the move and out to the field. See if we can catch our boy here. Oh, I thought we could catch him on the go. Nope, but we got lights on now, so things are getting spicy. Hopefully we can get this done tonight, 'cause this is a big field. So we'll put that back in. Let's try and chop these little segments off right here. So I'm just gonna chop this off right here. I'll come back and get the secondary spot on it. Just try and clean up and get the rest of this field done because I'm exhausted. I want to go to bed, and I still got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, so to say today has been a long day is an understatement. I cannot tell you, though, how much of a difference this header has made in getting the rest of this just completely torn out. I mean, the 18-foot header, it was giving me so much trouble with those hydraulics. I don't know what was going wrong, but bumping from an 18-foot header up to a 25-foot header has made a huge amount of difference. So besides the little chips that are down here on the bottom side, that should technically be good for the entirety of the bottom half of the field. Just going to top off the rest of our little friend there, and we're going to head up north, and we're going to take that back and get ready to go for the next load. I mean, for this to even be remotely profitable, I'm going to take a lot of this money that I'm going to earn from this and probably pay off about, if I can, a quarter, if not a third of my bank loan, invest some of the other stuff in some new machinery and seed products, but also just try and break even, because there's a lot of sorghum here, and I don't necessarily even know what the pricing is. If we can hold it, because it's September right now, it's only on the rise, I might hold it until November, if not January at the latest, and try and sell it for high. But I'm kind of short on cash, so we'll probably end up selling about a third of it here once we kind of dry it down a little bit. And that should be it. Put this down, turn off the lights, and let's get back to the farm. We are loading. what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to the house. We'll see you guys in the morning. I've heard the county's going to start coming out here and getting preparations for the tree line and the gravel road that's going to happen over there. So we'll see you guys in the morning when I'm dead tired and ready to go to bed. Just going to grab that croissant. And I'm just glad that that's done. But as I stated, the county is going to come out this morning quick and pretty much start laying the groundwork. Our grass is actually starting to come up too, so that's really nice. But we're going to start taking out some of those birch trees. We're going to go grab ourselves a mulcher at some point. And they're going to start doing some surveying of that. So let's get right to it. So the county's asking us to take out a handful of these birch trees just for the fact that when it comes to the new road, they want to leave this road for people that still need to travel to, say, all of the other county roads, but they're going to make a new road that crosses off on the side here. My task is to take out all these birch trees, get rid about halfway down the line. If only this process actually went this fast. I believe that should be good for the first round, and we need to take about 5 to 6 trees going up. I think we're going to take all the way up to that one that's just on the top crest of the hill. And there we go. The tree stumps will probably have to come back and get a little later, but now what we got to do is tear up an actual roadway that goes down there. So we're just going to start digging into the ground. Probably going to have to do about 2 to 3 passes wide. This could take a minute because this is going to eat a lot of dirt. Should do it. Besides taking out some of these little trees right here, there is our new road. So we're going to let the county bring in the gravel, and this will be pretty much done. All right. Thank you, sir. We will talk with you guys later. So we just got off the phone with the county board. They just said that the project for the bypass has been completed. My commission of being a part of that project check is in the mailbox. So let's just check and see how much that's worth. Hey, I like that. $25,000 to get that bypass put on my land. Kind of a fixed rate. I probably should have gotten more, but hey, we'll take what we can get. And my buddy actually ended up, one of my neighbors, he basically gave me a beat-up Jeep. This kind of had, like, nothing to it, but, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to get around the farm in case I don't have or can't use that truck to get somewhere. So this little Jeep should be able to get me to and fro. An old Army surplus vehicle from last I heard. Let's check out this bypass. They did also end up putting a street light on, but that was not on my side. So this is now the new bypass. Came with a little shoulder. It goes right up through here. Oh, that is going to make that so much nicer. The fact that that's now just a grass field makes this even better. So yeah. With that being said, let's get to what our actual list for today's video is. For one, you can note that I have a different truck. Where's the Ford? To answer your question, I needed something with a little more oomph. Now, this truck came up for sale the last few weeks. Now, bless my Ford's little heart, but it only had a 325 rear axle ratio at that 302. This is the 6.2 diesel with 456 rear gearing. So, by default, this thing is built to tow, which is what I needed to do because I still got to haul in some sorghum with the grain that's currently in my bins. So we are going to get right to that, but what we have to do once we sell our sorghum is we're going to need to go and buy ourselves a lime spreader because of the fact I need to get my prairie grass here limed so that way I can be prepped to go for the hay season come spring. Because we've been blessed that it's already staying warm enough out for this winter, but I know that it's going to change here fairly shortly. So we currently have 62,000 liters worth of sorghum that can be sold. What I'm hoping that I can do, let's check some prices here, is, sorghum is up. Sadly, it's not going to be as good as if I were to sell it in January, but I think we're going to be going to Johnson's Farmers Market because that's going to be our best option. I'm interested to see how well this Chevy can tow because, like I said, it's got a lot bigger and better gears in the back. And hopefully this thing can handle this a little bit better since it's a lot heavier of a truck. So we're just coming up over the hill. This actually did not tow very bad. I was trying to make sure I could pay attention so I wasn't going to be distracted. The brakes are a little spongy on this truck, so I might have to take those in and get them looked at. But other than that, the truck hauls beautifully. I have no complaints over this thing whatsoever. We're going to be selling the sorghum here at good old Johnny's to see what we can get and see if we might even be able to buy a lime spreader here so that way we can get our fields taken care of. So sorry I haven't really shown you guys much of the trip so far. I kind of been trying to stuck with the camera doing some hiccups and I can't seem to figure it out. But I've been doing the mathematics and we can get about 10 grand a load, maybe closer to 11 grand. So I'm going to run about 2 to 3 more trips so I can have a little bit of chunk change, but also have some playing money to be able to get that lime spreader. I need to also talk to the co-op because I need to get it with lime being about roughly 40 bucks an acre right now. I don't necessarily want a lime where I don't have to, but I know that the grass over here, the pH in that soil it's down to about somewhere in the upper 5s. Of course, I'd like to have that sitting somewhere in the lower 7s. But I think the best I'm going to be able to do for at least this coming year's crop of hay, grass, whatever I choose to do with it, is going to be about maybe lower to mid 6s. But I can at least get the lime to go and not turn in front of a car. Go. Go. But the lime spreader I'm looking at is going to cost me about $25,000. At the place that I would like to buy it, so we're going to need to sell roughly, like I said, if I can get about 11 grand, I can do this in 2 trips. The problem with the pH in that grass field is that it's sitting at about, especially on the upper half of the hill, it's sitting at about a 5.8. That is very acidic. If you look at the way pH in the soil works, to my knowledge, if your soil's at a 7, which is technically where you want to be, a 6 is going to be 10 times more acidic than a 7, and then a 5 is 10 times more acidic than a 6. So in reality, if you have a 5 pH versus a 7, it's 100 times more acidic than if you were to go from 5 to 7. So what I want to try and shoot for is that, like I was saying, mid-6 range, so I can produce possibly the best crop that I can out of that field, because I want the bales to help supply some money. I could do some contracts, but I don't have enough equipment to take care of half of these fields out here. So the nice thing is the Johnson's not even really supposed to open until like 10 o'clock, but kind of on like express workload, so he kind of was kindly enough to open up for me this morning to get the crops in. So as we dump away and watch our monies go up, I'll show you guys the spreader that we're looking at. So the spreader we are looking to buy is a Wilmar S600. This is a pretty nice looking spreader. I can actually get it for 25 grand, but money is going to be tight. Even if I do buy it, I'll only have about maybe 10 grand left in cash, which that is not going to be ideal. So hopefully I can end up squeezing by and getting a good return on the hay grounds, as I'm going to need it if I really want to be able to plant anything come spring. We're going to run back down to the store here. There's a lot of driving today. This Chevy's getting its workout in. I'm going to turn this off. There we go. We'll turn that off. And this Chevy, like I said, it's getting its driving in today. There is no skipping for this truck. So we got our call that the co-op guy is currently en route. We are, like I said, picking up our spreader, which this is going to look really good on the truck. And we are hooked up and ready to go. It sits a little low on the attach point, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. But he said that he should be en route. He's going to meet us at our field, which that will be really nice. I didn't even really realize there was a highway on this corner, but we'll take this road and get ready to go back to the farm. Hopefully he's there by the time we get back and we can get started liming with the 50-20. Oh, there he is. So by the looks of it, he actually beat us here. And conveniently, that message states exactly that. But I think, yeah, he's got an auger-driven trailer out here, so we'll talk to him, get that ready to go. That thing looks loaded down. Jeez. But we'll run over and grab the 50-20. We're going to start liming. Well, top of the morning to you ladies. My name's Buck. Welcome back to the old school series where we have actually moved maps to Midwest Horizon. Now, for any of those that do not know, this is actually technically where Jake and I got our original start, where we started kind of building up our way towards the legacy that we have left now. But this farm that's been pretty much replaced, as you guys remember, all of the old equipment. So we got like our old little Ford, we got the Case 2388, and a couple of other familiar faces. Now the biggest problem that we have to face today is the 5020 with its 230 disc. I was out discing around when it was way too hard on the soil, and basically what ended up happening is this linkage, as you can technically see, it has completely, the welds shattered. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to grind this back down and re-weld that, and also get a can of spray paint from the back of the shed and basically just clean this up. I'm lucky that I didn't end up bending the hydraulic cylinder itself. It seems to be in good condition, but I'll keep an eye on that because I don't want that to be leaking. As that's not going to be a cheap fix, but I do need to re-weld this bracket back on. But I'm going to grab my Clark MIG welder over there, and we're going to hopefully get this thing secured back up so that way we can kind of get stuff figured out. But let's get on to that. If you guys have not already considered liking, sharing, and subscribing the video down below, it'd be much appreciated, as we are currently on the run to 100,000 public subscribers. And stuff like this, I'm starting to kind of get some new ideas, so what you guys are about to see is going to blow your mind. So if you like what you're about to see here, please consider dropping a like. So basically, I need to get my wire brush out of the toolbox over here, and we will pretty much just be sanding down the surface area so we can get a nice clean bonding surface. So we'll just scrub on there, kind of get all of our points. And that is still solid enough on a piece of metal that I can just reuse what we got. So let's get this linkage put back together, shall we? So there is our first weld, and it is not the prettiest thing on earth, so that's what we have this for. Let's kind of grind those welds off, since those kind of look a little ugly. I like doing that. So that looks a little bit better. Still have to do the linkage to the other side, so we'll actually take care of that here too. So let's get on that. This one's going to be a little bit harder to get to, so I'll probably have to get up over on top.
A few moments later.
And there we go. That looks a lot better, so still not grand. So what I'll do is I'll obviously just take the grinder out here, and we'll grind down these welds, and then we'll get the spray paint out. We should be good to go. So we got our green spray paint. Kind of just give that a nice little, clean it up there. Right there. Actually, let's get this out of the way. Push that out of here. Get our green paint again. There we go. Get this side. And there we go. So that linkage should be fixed. So I don't think I really need to do anything else. As like I said, I'm just going to watch that cylinder to make sure nothing else is broken. One of the big things I'm actually going to do this time around is I'm going to be leaving this shop bay open for repairs like this if I need to do stuff. So we'll basically just get the door open here, and we're going to check to make sure that our linkage does in fact hold. And looky there. That's what I like to call a solid piece of metal. So what we'll do now is we'll get this thing out. I'm not going to be doing anything of tillage-wise today, just because of the fact it is rather The ground is frozen basically. I mean, right now it's about 46 degrees out, so it's nothing great, but last week was basically all 20s, and I am not about to be doing anything in that weather until the ground gets lightened up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a trip to Tractor Supply, because I do also have to pick up those halogen lamps that I was going to get for maintenance work like that, especially when I'm working on the combine. But we'll get these things unlatched right here. Now the 5020 is the only tractor in exception besides the Massey as well, because it has the loader bucket on it. They get to stay in this shed by default because, one, the 5020 is the main workhorse, and two, the Massey is also a snow removal tractor, since I got a snowblade, not a snowblade, but the bucket is also on that, as well as I do have I believe a snowblade for my four-wheeler, which is parked right back here. Yes, so during snow season, if we do end up getting some snow, I do also have a blade for the front of the Honda. The New Holland did also make its way over from the old school farm, so I'm really happy about that. This was actually a really cool little thing I ended up figuring out. I'm surprised this thing actually worked on the first try. But yes, this is a little Clark MIG welder, so that's kind of a fun little addition. We can have a couple projects done with that. But I'm going to pack up and take the Chevy into town, so that way I can go and pick up the supplies that I need with that. So we shall see you guys in just a bit. So the old square body did make its return. I did end up keeping this truck, as I absolutely love this truck. Big old brute. But if you guys do know about this farm, which if we check our map, in reality, you should take this farm road out here and go all the way to County Road, I believe, 204, and then take County Road 101 all the way to town, which is over here. I didn't like that, and by default, every time I have built this farm, I've always built a crossroad that goes through the tree lines and then over to this road, so I can basically take County Road 102 and come back down through this way. So you guys will kind of see, I actually have this really cool passageway, which now, since I have the actual stuff, we have a culvert that basically allows us to have a drive-over area to complete through that waterway. But it doesn't actually get rid of the waterway. But I got a really long driveway here, which that might need to be leveled out a little bit. But we got a big cornfield right there, as well as some hay ground, which I didn't have before, which that'd be really nice for the old swather to actually have some proper hay ground off the bat. I do still have really no money, and since I don't have any crops in the bins from moving maps, it will be kind of a pain. We did retain our decorative mailbox, which is kind of taken from the Prairie State. But we're going to head on our way to Tractor Supply. We'll see you guys once we get there. Now, this map itself doesn't have an actual dedicated town, but one thing that it does have is a lot of buildability to, in essence, somewhat make a town. So what I ended up doing down here is the Case IH dealer is on this map by default, which is a PC-only map. But then on the right side into the little field, we ended up getting Tractor Supply here. So if you guys kind of recognize the layout, this is the same layout from the Homeowners series, as you can just place this Tractor Supply, and I'm going to park in the truck parking because I'm too fat to get in those side stalls. But we're going to pop inside here, grab ourselves some halogen lights, and basically get our way back to the farm, since I don't really have a whole need to be spending a whole lot of money at the moment. All right, Dorothy, I'll make sure I'm spending those reward points. She's a sweet cashier. Now, this is one thing. Let me set this down actually quick. This is one thing that I would like to get for the house, but it's just a little bit out of my price range right now. This one's about $700 as a Troy built. But I also kind of like one of those 4x4 quad bears, because my Honda is two-wheel drive. But the problem is that Honda also is probably a lot more reliable and a lot more, how we say, powerful than this little Coleman. But they also have the little, the bigger Colemans out here. I kind of really like those. Cub Cadet, lawnmower, and a bad boy zero turn. This would be kind of fun. I've always wanted to get one of these, but the problem is this thing's like $5,500. So, not really the smartest choices to go and buy right now, but we'll load up. We got another one of those lights in there. I just ended up getting these. These were on the clearance sale, since this was more or less still from Black Friday stuff. So we'll load this back up, get back to the house, and we'll kind of go look around a little bit so you guys can see what all we have to offer now that we have moved the series. So we'll get right on to it, and we'll see you guys back at the house. Not gonna lie, though, it does feel good to be back on an actual, like, American-based map. The one thing that the Donoka, I believe is what it is called, just lacked is that it did end up slightly feeling more European-based, but, I mean, I've been on Midwest Horizon for... I don't even know how many times I've been on this map and loaded into it, so it just feels nice to be back to something familiar, as well as something that's just... It provides a lot that can be on there, so let's actually, while we're at it here, we're going to take a look around at some of the stuff that we got on the farm. What's changed, what's new, and what's basically still the same. So we still have the 84K30 dually from the original series. Once we go into this shed, this is where things start to get really similar. We have our 4030 high crop as well as our 2280 swather with the twin knife header on there. This is going to be new, as you guys... I was about to put this one in the other series, but I wanted to correct what was wrong because of the fact I have an 8-row corn head. This is a 2001 Kinsey 3140 8-row planter. I could have gotten extended seat boxes on this, as well as a couple fancy features, but I didn't. I just went with a very basic 8-row corn planter. I also still have this 2050 John Deere sprayer, as well as the famous 2388, which did come back from the other farm, and the little 3600 Americana. I love this tractor. This tractor is like my favorite. The only thing I do not like about it is how low the drawbar sits. That is literally my only complaint about that tractor. But we will close that door up since that really doesn't have anything else in there. Out here, we do have a diesel tank, which I do not like to fill up because that costs a lot of money. We still have the Wilmar Super 600, as well as the dual-axle low-wall trailer, the 2030 disc, and new is actually a 630 disc. So this one's a little bit more aggressive than this guy is. This one kind of acts more like a plow since the front discs are a little bit more abrasive. We do also have our PJ gooseneck, which is really, really nice. And the newest, and one of my favorite additions to the fleet, is actually this 1965 Jeep pickup. I absolutely adore this thing. We did end up getting a fuel tank to put in the back, so we can carry around a couple extra bits of fuel, and the old zero-turn mower. We do have a 2-post lift here, so we can do our own oil changes if I do choose to. And the only other thing that has not been shown yet is the hay rack, which is just back here. Pinned between the tree line and the barn. So that's really all there is to the new farm. I want to get the lights out of the bed here so that way we can actually go check out the Pioneer Seed Building, as I need to start prepping to buy our seed that's going to be planted in the ground here within the next coming months. Let's actually take a look at how bright these lights are. Oh, that's going to be an expensive mistake. Not too bad. That'll actually work really well, especially if we do have to do some projects later at night. Even though this garage has overhead lights, it'll just be nice to have that for extra work lights if I do need to work on something in this shop. So we'll turn that off. And let's take a little road trip up to Pioneer. Now there are 2 ways to get to Pioneer, which is not a default thing on this map. But I basically have the option to go straight or left, and I think this time I'll actually end up going straight. But then I have to cut across about another 1.5 miles. But also, I've heard there's a couple other businesses that are starting to open up over there, so we might actually grab ourselves a little treat, as I heard there is a Dairy Queen. But we'll see you guys once we get a little bit closer to Pioneer. I can't really remember what all businesses are actually down here, so we'll kind of have to take a gander. I was correct. Oh, that's actually an old retro Dairy Queen, so I guess if we also need to get... Oh, going in the other lane. If we need to get a new car or a used car, that'd probably be a good place. Here's our Pioneer building. We'll kind of wait for the old car to pass here, and then we'll kind of go in and talk to these guys. Oh, come on. I'm not that fat in the rear, am I? Okay, I guess we'll go to this entrance. So this is Pioneer Seed, huh? What a nice looking place. What do we got for instructions here? Head on up to the office to get next year's seed. Nice. Looks like a pretty handy place. So kind of make our way up the stairs here. See if we can talk to somebody.
20 minutes later.
All right, Kale. We'll catch you later, bud. Thank you. So we finished up talking with Kale. Basically, he ended up getting scheduled with an agronomist to come on out and check out the land, check out the farm. So once we get ready to start planting corn in the spring here, I don't believe I need to do anything with nitrogen, so I don't believe I need to borrow anything from these guys, since obviously, I mean, this is just Pioneer. This isn't a co-op. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Dairy Queen, grab ourselves a little bite to eat, and really that's about it. We don't really have a whole bunch left to do since, like I said, it's January. It's kind of slowed down for us here. Well, top of the morning to you, ladies. My name's the Random Man Buck. Welcome back to the old school series, where previously we left off with doing a shop project because I was intelligent and decided to try and tear up the rest of my ground while the ground was technically still frozen. So we ended up breaking a bracket linkage on the 230 disc. So it was on the left side wing. So we had to bring that into the shop, weld that back up, clean it back up, get it ready to go back out into the field. But today we have the basically part 2 to the live stream that we also ended up doing on Sunday, which is prepping for planting. Now, what we are going to have to do is we only have $18,000. I only have one tractor to do all of this work, and I don't really have enough time to be doing it with just the one tractor. So what I'm going to do is, I'm sorry to say for all the Massey Ferguson fans, but the little Massey Ferguson is going to be sold. In reality, it is the one tractor that I have had that I just don't really have a use for. I thought I would have more uses for it than I would need, but I was very much proven wrong because I already have the skid steer. The skid steer with the bucket and the pallet forks gets every job that I needed done with that. So this little Massey Ferguson sadly will be going. I can get about $8,000 for it. And the best part about it is that I have a tractor listing that I found down the road. It's a bit more beat up, but it's a 1206 International with 120 horsepower that I can easily use to get the planter that I need to go running in the field, while the 5020 does a lot of the field work since it has the most power. We're going to load this tractor up. We're going to get this sold at market. And then we're going to go and pick up the 1206, which is just down the road about 2.5 miles or so, right after we get stuck. I will actually keep the barrel weight, though. We do want to keep the barrel weight. So on one note, I am very sad to see this Massey go, because I did actually want to have some uses for it. Mainly I was going to be like pushing snow and helping move around like products, like I was spilling beans on the ground, but it's hard to do that when you have a tractor that can do that job. Well, the skid steer. I have that skid steer, and that thing is just more compact. It gets the job done easier. It's just better in reality. There's no real need to have two things that one of them can do that job and more. So we're gonna go get this sold, and then we're gonna move up to the neighbors just up the road, and we'll go and see you guys at the 1206. It is nice to know that Daryl is going to be coming out here a little bit more often. He's just finishing up on the last few passes here. We're going to send him up to field 34. We'll send him up to 34 here once he gets done with that, so he can start working on that field. And then we should be back on track. By the time I can get fields planted, everything should be pretty much in order. And with that, if you guys have not already, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. As you do know, we are on the race to the 100,000 public subscriber mark by the end of the year. Is it going to be a trek? Absolutely, but I'm willing to go the distance to try and make that happen this year. Really want to try and break some great content for you guys, and just by doing this stuff, it really just kind of brings it all center, because I don't really like to cheat this stuff. I'm really trying to dive into playing the game right nowadays, and with the knowledge that I'm just trying to learn for this, it just makes the game that much more fun to play. So now that we actually have all that covered, we'll see you guys once we get this little Massey sold and the International bought. And after selling the little Massey Ferguson, in total with front loader, bucket, and the tractor, we ended up getting about $9,500, which that will definitely help offset the price of this International, which, as you guys can tell, looks absolutely spectacular. We do have a bunch of front weights on the front, which that'll be nice. I did call the seller to make sure that I did get the weights with the tractor, or at least a full set, because I don't necessarily know how much that planter is going to be offset when full on this tractor. So I wanted to make sure I had the weights just in case. It does have a row crop wheel setup, so we can plant with the tractor. That's the thing about the 5020. It does not have the right wheel setup to be planting, so I needed a planting tractor, which this will be just perfect for that. It does have 4 rib tires up front and a pretty much straight up rain cap exhaust. There's no muffler, there's no nothing, so this is just a one bad mamma jamma. Might have to play weld the ladder on the side of the tractor so I can actually get in the thing, but we can worry about that later. So we will get this tractor loaded up as we already have cash on hand, and we will have to talk to the bank to make sure we can finance a bit of the corn seeds. That way we're not going to be completely just struggling in debt. So we're going to take care of all of that phone work off camera here, because that's going to probably take a little bit to get everything pieced out, but we'll let you guys know when we're a little bit more stable with where we're at. So to make matters actually better, we talked down the farmer to 12.5 because he says the tractor has an alignment issue up front. Now, of course, the wheels are a little bit like tilted in, but he also is having a problem where the alignment itself, the wheels are tilted like this one's a little bit facing this way and this one's a little bit facing this way. So these front tires are rubbing really bad. So I am going to have to replace those front tires before we really get anything going. So I did talk him down, so we got about $2,500 extra to spend on tires, but I also still need to go and buy seeds. So we're going to get this tractor brought back to the farm, and then we're going to get on the phone with our Pioneer dealer so that we can start picking up our corn seed, because we're going to get about 2 pallets worth of corn seed and 2 pallets worth of soybean seed. I think that should kind of even out, because the amount of field that I have to actually plant and go by shouldn't be too much to offset. I will have to look into the prices of chemicals, so it might almost be like I go 1 pallet, and then a pallet worth of spray, which I think just by what we're doing, it's not going to take that much. I could also be very wrong, and I have been very wrong before. All I know is that I'm just trying to plan as much as I can so I do not have to borrow that much money. As we all know, the more you own the bank, the more the bank owns you. And we do not want that here, which I think I still already have a pretty substantial loan going. I haven't looked in a while, so I can't really confirm or deny. So we are ready to head out, and we also got Daryl switched around over here, so he's going to be set to go. He's tilling up our land on that. This little plot, that's because this little chunk sticks out on the backside of the tree line, so we're going to take care of that last. Plus, we also going to leave that, so in case we do need to fill up, we kind of have an area that's not all torn up and we won't get the tractor stuck. That tractor, when the tank is empty, almost takes a quarter of a tank of that little fuel tank in the back of the Jeep, so we will have to watch that. But right now, we got a mission and we got to get to Pioneer, so we'll see you guys at the seed dealer, where we're going to get in touch with those guys, and we already got them their money, so more than likely I'll have to get on the phone with the bank. So yay, finances! All right, Alan, thank you, sir. I'll be making sure we can get that payment plan out so we can get this stuff taken care of. Will do. Thank you, sir. All right, so that was Alan, that was my bank guy that I just ended up calling. I got confirmed to have a $40,000 loan, putting me at $240,000 total in the hole. We did arrive at Pioneer, and there is our supplies sitting out front. We'll make sure we got them everything that we need to taken care of with those guys up in the office. But to save myself some money, that is one thing that I did do. Is it's not a huge fee, but a loading fee, especially with some of these products. I don't need to be paying that right now, especially now that I have $40,000 extra dollars I need to be paying off. But we'll get all of our supplies here loaded up, since we kind of need that to be able to do our job. We are going to be planting beans first, since I'm going to have the planter set for beans with the International. And then we're going to swap to corn right after that, since the last of our fields are going to be planted in corn. So without further ado, let's get these products loaded up. So we have the seeder filled up. We actually put the truck in the shed. Now I'm actually going to do 2 things. One, I'm going to wash off the Chevy, give that thing a little bit of a bath, since it's kind of getting, you know, a little bit dirty. But I also kind of realized when I looked at the crop calendar that, well, la-di-da, you can't plant corn till April, or soybeans for that matter. So we kind of just, you know, wasted all that time, and we can't even do anything for a month. So what we'll do actually is get the 230 hooked up to our International here, and we're going to go and kind of make the seed beds, you know, a little bit more smooth and ready for planting, rather than just trying to plant in plowed ground. So we'll take care of that, and we're also going to wash off the Chevy here. So Daryl will be clicking away over there doing that, while we are going to wash off this. So we'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a work showcase of what we're going to be doing so we can wait till tomorrow so we can start planting. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, basically.
Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5, happy with the simple life. Yeah, I ain't here to try to change your mind, trying to save your time, in case you're thinking about breaking out the bucket list. Girl, you can skip this funny business, 'cause up there it's complicated and overrated. Down here everything is understated. That's alright by me. I got everything that I need, but there is breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from. Hell, you can keep your 9 to 5, 'cause I'm happy with the simple life.
Okay, so situation being, we've had a couple different changes happen. We had Kevin come out, and he's currently been running the roller on field 33. We've also had field 32 and 31 rolled, so those are now ready to go as seed beds. Corey has come out, and he's going to be running R1206 with the 230 disc. Daryl right now is going to be taking off. He's going to go grab lunch for us, since that should be within the hour here. I am going to be putting back the 5020 and getting our fuel tank filled up. So the next time you will see us, we will have the 1206 getting hooked up to the planter, and we are going to be planting some corn and beans. We'll actually be able to do that now. We'll see you guys in a bit.
Tomorrow.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome now to actual planting. So we kind of are running into a slight problem where I think it's the realistic seeder mod, so I might actually have to take this out, sadly, to use this thing. But in essence, for some reason, this planter is only planting corn. Like, if I put the corn seed or the soybean seed in, it only wants to plant corn. So we'll kind of have to look into that. But for right now, we are going to fill up on corn seed, and we are going to just make our cornfield first. So this is our first cornfield that we're going to be planting, as our second cornfield is right there, 31, since that was beans last time. So with that filled up, we're going to plant 34 here first, then we're going to jump to 31, since this has already been set up for corn, and then we'll jump to soybeans once we can kind of figure out what's going on with the planter. So without further ado, let's get some planting in. So the nice thing about having this international now is, yes, I may actually be in a whopping amount of debt, which for some reason it's costing me almost $8,000 to pay these guys to come out here and help me out. But hey, when harvest time comes, I believe we will reap the benefit of everything else, because we actually have all the supplies we need to make a plentiful year. This Kinsey, however, I don't think it's really going to make planting season any slower. Like, yes, planting 8 rows at a time is going to take a minute, but with 2 headland passes, I don't think this is going to take very long. Just for the sole fact, this thing moves pretty quickly. If I shift up, I don't know if I'm able to plant faster than 8. I don't think you'd want to plant faster than 8. Oh, we can go 9. Nice. But like that, you're going 9 miles an hour and you're pulling 8 rows at a time. Like, this can go pretty quickly. These fields aren't tremendously huge. So I'll kind of keep going back and forth, make the headland, have some fun with this. I do want to see how well Kevin can get that field done over there. The problem with field 33 is that because I made that roadway that goes through all the way to the highway, if I were to use easy dev to like change what it does, like just it'll change the whole field and basically cover up the road. So I can't really do anything on that field like automatically, so I have to do stuff manually. But I've heard, I was snooping around, and as you guys can see on the map, there's like 2 vehicles that are sitting here. But I've heard that it rides somewhere, I know it rides somewhere along this tree line and on this riverbank. So I know Corey hasn't planted over here yet, so I kind of want to take a little bit of a drive. I could have sworn it was up along this tree line somewhere. I must have literally just like completely missed this. Oh, okay. Maybe. Oh, there. Well, we got 3 vehicles by the looks of it. What the heck is this? It's like some sort of old, like, Lincoln Town car. Might be a Mercury. Ah, that's way too far gone. No way. No way. Hold on a minute. That's gotta be a 70 to 72 SS. Oh, it's not the pistol grip, the staple shifter. But it is a 3, looks like it's a 4-speed, maybe? 4-speed, maybe? That is, I mean, the interior just looks dirty and possibly maybe a little bit moldy, but yeah, I think that's a 70 because it didn't have the mirror on the one side. I want to get this thing out. If I can get a rope and tie that thing and get that out of there, see if the 350's still good, that'd be amazing. Well, we'll go and check out what the tractor is that's sitting over here, and then we'll kind of let you guys know. But I'm going to run into Tractor Supply and go grab a tow rope because I know that car is not going to start. Now, it said the tractor's somewhere along this river. Oh, okay, I think I saw it. It says somewhere along this riverbank, bedded on the tree line. Kind of find my way through there. Let's see, what exactly are you hiding? Oh, there it is. Okay, so it appears to be a front wheel assist. It's an 860 or an 890? 850. So it's an 850 diesel. This has to be... You don't see these with front wheel assist. That has to either be customly done or that is a very rare model. I mean, it looks like it might actually still be able to run. I mean, we'll drag it back out and take it to the shop, but shoot, if we can get that running, that's at least, it's got to be close to 100 horsepower. And the front wheel assist, we don't have a front wheel assist on the farm. Well, let's make a run to TSC quick, and we're going to grab ourselves a tow strap. And we'll make our way back and see if we can't pull those things out. Because I know these guys are going to be good for a bit. So we'll see you guys when we get to Tractor Supply. So what I would like to try and end up doing is I'm going to pull the car out first. I want to try and get this now. I obviously don't have enough money to restore these things by the slightest. The 850, if I can get that thing running, I'll try and just do a fresh oil change. Basically just get it as usable as possible. So I can maybe put it into some field work, and if I wanted to down the road, we can get it repaired, but it really all depends on how, like, is the block seized up? Is something cracked? Is there a warp somewhere, like just the frame bent, or we all know the risks of getting something that we just found in a ditch. Now, the other thing is that these 2 things could technically be flooded, give or take how long they've been sitting there, the riverbank could have risen, and it's a flooded out, rusted mess. We'll be able to find that out more, especially with the Camaro. I don't want to pull a car that has so much rust on the floor pan that it's completely unfixable. Now, it looks like Corey's out of seed, so we'll run and get him some seed here in a bit. But I really want to try and get this Camaro out at least first, since it really, it shouldn't be too big of a challenge, but I would not necessarily want to go and drop a brand new 350 motor in this thing if it's not even worth it with all the rust on it. Let's back up, and we're going to try to very delicately pull this car out of here. So the little tug, let's see what we can do in low. Oh, she is stuck in the mud. Come on, baby. It seems like the wheels are kind of locked up. Yeah, they're spinning real slow. Just, oh, hello. Okay. It must be stuck on. Let's readjust. I'm gonna pull it from the other way. All right, let's try that. There she is. Oh, that is crusty. That is crusty. Look at that thing. Oh, oh, that is rough. I mean, the brakes seem like they're pretty locked up. I don't know how long this thing's been sitting. Let's check out the interior on this thing. Ew. All grimy and it's dirty, but I mean, look at the seats. Like, that's just mold. It looks like mold. It is a 350 small block. See if I can reach down in there and spin it. Oh no, that thing is locked up. That is not good. Let's get our tow rope disattached here. And we'll go and try and work on that tractor. Now this one's kind of a different story because I think I might have to clear out some of this tree line in order to get to it wherever it's at. Okay, it's right here. If I can clear out a tree line just to the right of this, just to the left of this, we might be able to pull it straight out. Oh yeah, we might actually be able to pull this thing straight out if I just clear out this area of brush, so. And it's my bad, I actually thought this is a 40-30, but the one thing this tractor's notorious for is it can't really pull anything very well. So I'm gonna try because the 50-20 right now is having its weights taken off the duals, so all the duals they're not completely off yet, but all the lug nuts are loosened on the tires, so I don't want to have to undo all that. So we're just gonna try and uproot some of this stuff with the 40-30 with our disc. Now, like I said, this is probably not going to work great, but this is about the best I'm going to be able to do. So, put it in A, put it in 1. Let's see if we can't do this. Hey now, that's working pretty good. Okay, that kind of worked. I want to see if I can't get this one tree that sits right next to this. If I can get this one, we're golden. Let's see if we can get this thing to go. Oh, she does not like this. I'm spinning. Come on, Chevy, you can do it. Come on, Chevy! Oh, she is a heavy son of a gun. Come on! It's up. It's almost up. It's almost up. Come on. Dig, 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 dig. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. You're almost there. Oh, I'm just digging ruts. Oh, she is locked up, though. Almost there. You know, I could have checked if the tractor's in neutral. It was. Okay. Okay. I mean, it just looks dirty, but it's possible we could actually have this thing be working. There she goes. Now she's up and over. Well, now that we got that out, let's just see if we can't find out if this block is actually free. Just want to try and get my wrench in here. Let's just see if we can get this thing to turn. Ah! Up, oh, yep. Yep, we got ourselves some back and forth. Now, it probably is going to be... See if we can do it from here, see if we can't get a better angle at it. Oh, okay, so we do actually have a free block in this thing. So, I'm going to kind of see if I can't maybe finagle. I know I got jumper cables, so let's actually get that hooked up. I want to jump this. I want to see if I can get this tractor started. We'll get our battery hooked up. Turn our jumper on. Kevin, could you be any louder over there? I swear, that tractor, it is so loud. I just called Kevin and said, you gotta stop with that thing for a minute. We're trying to record over here, and we can't hear anything. So we have compression. It does sound like it works. This does have also new, looks to be new hydraulic ports on it. I mean, still got fresh things. This must not have been sitting here very long. But it sounds like we have compression. Okay, well, we have the engine spinning. We have... Okay, so I want to pull the fuel line off. I want to check fuel. This thing's got to have absolutely garbage fuel. I'm going to run over and grab the Jeep quick, and we're going to see if we can get a little bit of fresh diesel in this thing. Yeah, there we go. So our looks like to be our fuel needle. It must have been sitting for a while enough that it actually like froze in a position where it looked like it was open. We just kind of lit through that, and now it looks like it's actually working. So I think that's about all the fuel we're at least going to need for right now. So let's just try and see if we can't get this thing to kick over. We have fresh fuel. We have compression. If we don't get a fire after at least 2 or 3 cranks, I'm going to know it's going to be coming down to... not even necessarily spark, but we'll get some new glow plugs in these things. Come on, baby. There she be. Oh, she's a rattler. Okay. Well, from what I can tell, this thing has a 3-speed gearbox. Looks, the game says we got a 6, but I think we've got about a 3-speed gearbox and 1, if not 2, reverses. So we're going to try and put it in reverse 1, and let's see what we can do here. Let out the clutch. Okay, well, it moves. That's a plus. So power steering's a little bit rough. Well, let's just see whether or not this thing can go forward now. Put it in third. And we have forward. So we'll try and get this thing back to the shed. We'll clean this off, and we're going to go and try and pick up the Camaro on the backside, and then we'll get to start planting on the rest of the day. So, catch you guys once we get this back to the shop. Let's just see how bad this tractor actually is. I know our hubs are going to be basically demolished, but I don't need this thing to look pretty. It's just a matter of if this tractor works a lot. So, get up all in there. Of course, we're not going to get all the grease off of it, but that's the worst of our problems. I think we're doing all right. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. I might see if I can't jerk it enough that, since it's in neutral, I'm going to jerk it enough, and then we're just going to rebuild the drum brakes in the back anyway. So we gave it just a bit of a jerk, and we kind of got the back brakes to actually loosen up a little bit, so we're just going to push this thing back in here. I'll see if I can get that running someday on that, but for right now, that car's just going to have to sit there. I'm not going to be able to work on that, and I got to get this thing back up and running and out in the field, so we're going to run now. We're going to get out and start working with the planning. Alright, so top of the morning to you laddies. My name is Man Buck. Welcome back to the old school series here on good old Midwest Horizon, where today is finally the first cutting that I have been able to get out and do of our little hay ground here. I'm going to cut this spot on the right side of the road as well as the left side of the drive, so that way I can get as much grass as I absolutely can. Now the big plans today is we're going to be heading over to our neighbors to go look at possibly getting ourselves a little garden tiller, as I kind of am a little late to the punch of actually planting a garden, but it's also been relatively dry out here this year, and there's more rain coming in the forecast. Well, with that rain though, I want to get the hay down, at least let it dry somewhat to where I can bale it, and then we also have to get out and start doing our second round of spraying. We already did basically a pre-emerge to, in essence, seal out any of the early weeds on our crops. But we have all of our crop in the ground, and now I want to get this, since it's already out of the ground, we'll get our last round of spraying in for the season. But I need to fix the sprayer, as the boom arm has a fracture of a weld. I'll explain more once we actually go and look at it and take a look and re-weld part of the boom arm, since it doesn't have really a breakaway. But we're going to get a little bit of grass cutting here done. Maybe set up Daryl, have him set up shop, and then we're going to head out to the main shop, and we'll kind of go start working on our sprayer. But like I mentioned, we have a problem right now with our, basically it's the driver's side boom arm. The issue being is that right here on this like contact point between our linkage and the boom arm is there's no breakaway. This is one singular bar that comes out here, and as you can kind of see when we look at it, there's a really bad crack right on here that we ended up welding like 3 years ago, but it, since all of the just the roughness of everything else, it's bobbing and shaking, and periodically I'll be turning around and I'll hit something with this. That weld is breaking loose. I didn't do it right in the first place, so we're going to basically shave that off, re-weld it, get this thing ready to go, maybe shoot it with a quick round of paint, then we're going to get our chemicals loaded up, and we're going to do our second round of spraying on all the crops, so that way we can make sure we get all of our weeds taken care of, as we want to stay ahead of that. And the 4030 has been prepped, it's ready to go, this thing's been a tank. The other thing that we have going on in the shop right now is the 850, which we all know this is a mocked up, modified version. This is not a factory tractor. I'm currently in the process of rebuilding this hub, as I could hear a lot of grinding going on, and I found out that actually the axle itself, it wasn't installed right, so it like slightly broke itself, and it's just disassembly, reassembly, finding parts. I ended up also going to a swap meet in Kentucky when I was looking for some parts for the Camaro, which we're starting to work on the drivetrain underneath that right now. We finally put some new shocks in, but I'm rebuilding the differential and everything else, and the gas tank in that thing was gone, so I had to find a gas tank. I found a gas tank for both this and this. Well, this is a diesel tank, of course, but either way, we have a new fuel tank in this thing. It already runs. We got new battery. We changed the fluids. Everything on this is working. It's just that I'm trying to get this hub done because I would like to have this to help with baling season. I am probably going to make a trip off of Facebook Marketplace and pick up some spare wheels for right now until I can maybe get these ones redone. So it's got a lot of process to go. We'll sand it off, primer it, and do body work where it needs to be. But that's kind of what we got going on in the shop right now. I did, however, once we get the baling stuff done over there, about 3 weeks ago, since it's been a couple months since we've seen you guys, I did end up finding for about $1,500 a second 258 tether rake, as well as this like split bar that someone custom made for one of these things, so I can run dual on that. And I'd rather have that 850 pulling that than the Ford 3600, just for the sake of power. But that's kind of what we're going to be using to ted the grass over there so then we can windrow it and then bale it with our little square baler. So a lot of little projects that are going on, and I know that neighbor that wants to sell the tiller has a brick nose Ford, and he kind of wants to trade me up for my Jeep. I don't want to get rid of that Jeep truck. That thing's amazing. Plus, I got my fuel tank in the back, and I really don't want to get rid of that. So let me know down in the comments. I'll probably put a survey up in the community chat afterwards. Do we keep the Jeep or do we go and swap out for the brick nose Ford? So either way, let's pull out our Clark welder here quick. We'll just kind of roll this back. We'll sand down our contact area where we're going to be working. Like I said, it's just right in between here. Get that sanded, get it prepped, make sure our hoses and connectors are out of the way, which this thing's already prepped for spraying. We've already completely checked all of our lines, checked all of our hoses. It's already sprayed once. So we already have everything on that, so we'll just sand this down quick. Make sure we have a fully perfect contact surface where when we weld this thing together, it should not break, at least for another couple years. And we'll go on from there. That should be all there is to it. I actually did get a lot better at my bead welds on this one now, so that weld, like I said, the first time I did it, it was garbage. It just didn't work at all. So let's just give this thing a shot of green paint quick. We'll let that dry. Let's put this back where it belongs. Well, let's go check on Daryl where he's at. So we'll just kind of take the Honda if I can get it out here quick. And we'll go see where he's at. And just as I figured, Daryl gave me the call, said he ended up getting stuck, which it's just as simple as the AI just can't really, that front mower doesn't like adjust to the ground. So in reality, it shouldn't get stuck, nor should it be tearing up the ground, but it is. So what I think I'm going to have him do is I'm going to set him going east-west instead, since I don't think these hills are as drastic of a change as more or less going north-south. So we'll set Daryl back up again here quick and get him running, because we are going to need to have this grass in order to make the bales. It's pretty common knowledge on how that one works. This is what I was talking about, how he just kind of from time to time, just stuff on the yard he just ends up selling. I want that Ford, the brick nose. It's a 90, and I believe it's got the 7.3 diesel in it, to my knowledge. Let me go check that quick. I mean, the truck itself, it's beautiful. I think he said it only has like 95,000 miles on it. Four-wheel drive, it's got big, beefy Continental tires on it. But yeah, I mean, it's gooseneck, cam lock, red interior, red pinstripe. I mean, it's a really nice truck. I've also been kind of looking at this blade just for the sake of, again, it's kind of a bigger version of what I use this for in the fall, but I don't have the money right now to be going and throwing around. I'd love that wheel ridge too. The four-wheeler I don't need because we already have the 4-tracks, but yeah, let's go talk to Dawn and we'll see what we can do about this tiller. Hey, Dawn, how we doing? Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I know, the coffee this morning at Casey's was, a little cold. That actually that's a lot bigger than I remember it being. This thing's actually counterbalanced really nice. It doesn't take much to actually, like, get it up off the ground. And now I'm locked in a corn crib. Nice. Yeah, I can come back this afternoon at about, maybe 10 o'clock or something. I can come pick it up. I got cash right now I can give to you. Well, there you go, Don. Thank you, sir. We'll come back, like I said, about 10 o'clock or so. We'll come pick this up, and I'll get it in the shop, and I'll see what I need to do to get that thing running, because that's definitely going to be a nice little asset. As for your Ford that sits down on the street, do you still want to possibly do a trade for my Jeep for that truck? Because I really don't want to get rid of mine. I'm trying to do this. I'll let my audience decide, because I got some people that watch like a vlog style stuff that I do, and I think they'd really. I'm pretty sure they'd want me to trade that Jeep off, but I really do like the Jeep. So if that's still of interest to you, I'm gonna put out a community thing. We'll see what the crowd wants for that. I guarantee you they want me to trade. So if it doesn't sell, I'll keep in touch with you. Either way, let's get back to the shop, get the sprayer ready to go with the chemicals, and get the Chevy out to the field so we can start spraying. Well, I have good news. I ended up looking on the auction house, and a listing for one of these Plymouth Trimit 303s came up. It's just the width of it's an 8-meter sprayer. It's not going to be anything huge, but I mean, it's the best I got. The guy wants $3,500 for it at the dealer. I want to see whether or not I can just almost trade straight up with this bad boy, so I'm just going to swap out for my hitch that I can pull this sprayer with. We'll unload the chemical, we'll wash it out quick, and we'll run in. It's about 20 minutes away. We'll run over there to see if we can't get a trade-in value and just trade this thing off, because I got to be able to spray, and I don't think this is going to be able to do it. Okay, so I am actually very, 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 very pleased. We ended up going to the dealer, and they gave me $3 grand for the other sprayer, which means we only had to pay an extra $500 for this little guy, which it might take us a little bit longer now to... Oh, let me stay in my lane. It might take us a little bit longer now to, in essence, you know, spray the fields, but at least now we'll have something that we can load with chemical, and then I can actually apply it without destroying, you know, 60% of the crop in the field because the tires just destroy the crop. That's also just farm sim being farm sim, but trying to stay as logical as possible with not wasting as much money as possible, this is what I technically have to do. So, we will just kind of keep on keeping on. We'll reload the sprayer and let's kind of get to doing a little bit of spray work. Starting to notice, and it's really making me mad, is the fact that it doesn't necessarily matter where I'm at. The way this game determines where you slip is kind of dumb, because there's an entire like row that's like 3 or 4 rows that's missing now in the one like big area that it's actually got weeds, which in reality I don't necessarily need to have this in there right now because there's no weeds in this spot. And I could technically let like little guys like those go, but like that, like there, it says that I'm slipping. Like, no, I'm not slipping. I just throw it in 6th and I call it good. Ooh, okay, that might be the parts for our 850, so I'm actually going to take those over to the shop too. We'll load those up, and we'll get the sprayer going again here, and we'll probably catch you guys once we start getting the hay ground messed with, like once we start more or less tedding grass. So we'll load up these part boxes on the skid steer, and we'll move our way over to the 850 as well. So in our boxes here, we have all of our components we're going to need to rebuild this hub. We also have our new fluid, so we can make sure that this hub stays lubricated, because I think that was probably half the problem, is that no one ever decided to look and change the oil in any of this stuff, or check it, make sure it wasn't low, and it ran dry, and as we all know, when things are running dry on older, bigger equipment like this, it tends to wear out a lot faster. So, let's start actually by grabbing our box fan on the opposite side here, just so we don't, you know, cook ourselves, since it is June, and we are starting to more or less just pick up steam with temperatures. Okay. Let's take our hub components, old gear, little axle, let's grease that up, shop rags, clean that out, brake cleaner. We know the drill, how to clean these things out. New seals, put that on. With all those buzzed down, let's grab our torque wrench. And to my knowledge, this now should in full and entail work. We should have full front wheel assist, and the tractor should work just fine. We have life, baby. We have life. Let's just check and see whether or not... Okay, our power steering's working, because I had to get a new one of those. I don't hear any grinding, so that's definitely good. That was the biggest problem, is that we had a lot of grinding noises coming from that front end. So we completely replaced the entire hub assembly on this front driver front side. I did take apart the left and look at it a little bit. It just needed the fluid change as it was low. I think the seal went bad on this side, which is what caused the fluid to leak out, and then of course the extra wear and tear. So we ended up putting the new seal on the left side as well, topping it off with new fluids. flushing everything else. Like I said, we also put in a new fuel tank. I don't hear anything. I believe this tractor's up and good. This is another 95 horsepower tractor, and now we obviously have front wheel assist, so that'll help us greatly. I'm going to start tedding this stuff up, and just as I envisioned, this tractor is working phenomenally. We'll kind of rake all this up, and if I can get one for a decent price, I might try and grab myself a windrower. That's going to probably do it for this one, guys. Thank you all so much for checking out the Old School series. Be sure to also check out the Old School series playlist so you guys can keep up and also watch back all of our previous episodes here on this glorious farm series as we kind of keep finding our way through the series together. Currently, right now, we are just finishing up, getting ready to start beans. I have just a few more tasks left to go, like getting the Westfield here hooked up to our Ford, which now we can really just leave that there since we don't need to worry about that. But we have a lot of big investments that are coming to the farm. The biggest of which right now we're going to do right after we get the case out, which has been completely prepped for beans. We've serviced it, we've greased it, we've checked over all of our belts, chains, and everything that needs to be checked on that axial flow. Well, we are going to be putting on some single wide floaters on the 5020, as well as I have a handful of cluster parts to replace our gauges currently that do not work on this tractor. We just also invested in a brand new Karcher pressure washer. But what would a great pressure washer be without the great soap to clean it? Farming doesn't have to be dirty, folks. Andy Clean has definitely supplied. My great friend Andy ended up sending me 4 jugs worth of 5 gallons on Andy Clean. This is a great high-performance soap cleanser, as it states on the packaging. You just dump the soap right into the foam cannon, and we'll have all this stuff nice and cleaned up before we head to harvest. We also have to run over to Don's and run our trade deal on the IDI. But I think for starters, what I need to do is I need to go run to get the mail. So let's go check if there's any bills. Now, all jokes aside, besides my voice still sounding horrible, I apologize. We have 4 things we need to do on our list today. One being we need to go and trade out the Jeep here for my neighbor Don's 7.3 IDI Ford. I still have that poll result, and you guys by a landslide wanted the Ford instead of the Jeep. I know the Jeep's a really popular vehicle on this series, but the poll's the poll, and I know Don's going to take care of it. Second up, we're going to be doing the big floater tire conversion on the 5020 in the shop. Going to get the case out and hooked up to our bean headers. That way we have our big new floaters so we can get less compaction while we're running in the fields. Fourthly, we're going to get everything on the farm washed and cleaned so that way we can get and hit the fields with brand new clean looking equipment. And lastly, we'll start cutting beans. So without further ado, close the hood on our Jeep here. And just an updated process on the old Camaro here. We currently have this thing primered, as well as we found some quick marketplace rally rims, so the car is at least looking halfway decent. But right now I'm currently in the process of replacing the front main seal right off the crank pulley. We'll worry about all that process later. Let's get the Jeep started up here and let's head over to Don's. Oh, now Don, you didn't tell me about the square body that you had. Obviously I'm not here to purchase that because we only have 20,000. Which we did sell quite a few hay bales. That is a big reason, as you guys saw in the community post. We sold a lot of hay bales. We sold like $30,000, almost 900 bales worth of hay. So we have ourselves a little bit of chunk change left. Howdy, Don. I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to take that 7.3. I got the old Jeep sitting outside. Now tell me about this. What is this all about? A 454 square body Chevy. Shotgun exits. I need to find me a set of them mud flaps. That'd be really cool to put on the old the 6.2. So I guess old Don's gonna end up letting me drive the square body down. But Don and I decided that we were just gonna do just a simple wash of the trucks since we're getting 2 great products. He has uses for the Jeeps, I have uses for the Ford, and we just said bygones be bygones. So thank you, Don. Have a great harvest season, and see if this thing still starts after sitting for a while. It's kind of chilly. Let's head back to the farm and let's start working on that tire swap on the 5020. Now while we let that warm up, let's get the Case IH out of the shop here.
And just so everybody knows, now even though the 5020 may be my favorite tractor of all time, it is still adamant to note that what we're about to do will make it the embodiment of everything that I love about that tractor. We have ourselves some plans to make this tractor look like an absolute beast. It's going to perform, it's going to showcase, it's going to be everything that I've ever wanted the 5020 to be. We'll let Daryl kind of start finicking around with the settings to make sure we're not throwing beans directly out the backside of this combine, as well as checking our shredders in the rear. So the first things I'm going to end up doing to this tractor is I would, if the collisions weren't bad on the axle, I would raise up with the jack stands, getting the front tires off the ground. But we're going to swap out these 4-rib front tires for 5 ribs, and then we're going to swap out these rear duals by taking off our dual hubs. We're going to put those in the back shed over here. We currently have our gauges set up right over here on the counter. So we're going to get those installed up in the cab. I will see you guys here in probably about 3-4 hours, give or take how much pain this is to get the lugs separated from the tires. So we'll see you guys here in a little bit. Looky here. This is what we got, folks. I am so excited for this. So the long story short of what I ended up doing is I completely replaced the gauge cluster in the front, also getting my tachometer to work. I also have my coolant temperatures now up and operating. We also have our fuel gauge now reading, so now I know I'm under half tank just by sitting in the cab. I did also fix the animation of my throttle not necessarily looking like it's actually working, but now the steering column works. And of course, we also have the power shift now working, as well as some new decals for the dash. So this tractor is now fully operational and it is ready to go. The only thing I need to do now is pretty much get it all nice and cleaned up, and we're ready to hit the fields. Let's just do the intelligent thing and slam the plow blade right into my welding table. That's gonna get the job done all right. Let's get our pressure washer filled up with our first jug of Andy Clean itself. So perfect. So we'll set that right there. Get our pressure washer turned on. Let's clean this stuff up. Make sure we get all back in here by our linkage, which I ended up also investing in a brand new 3-point linkage back here for my top arm. This tractor is by far the sexiest it's ever been, and I'm going to say it as it is because this thing is an absolute animal. I will leave that there since we got to get this out and get our next vehicle in, which will probably be the 850. This thing's new nickname is officially Hercules. This little 850 has went from 0 to hero on this farm. I've had no maintenance problems with it. The baler itself, we need to pull that ever so small bit of hay that's still jammed up in the compactor for the bale. Just get it all nice and cleaned out, which we're going to be doing here. But I absolutely adore this tractor. It has been nothing but absolute savings for this tractor so far. Now, you guys will have to let me know down in the comment section if you think we should actually put some money and time into this tractor by getting it repainted, reserviced, making it look basically brand new. I'm starting to get a little bit more money, and after this year with crops, I'm hoping that I pull in a good profit. I should be able to have a really good yield, and if that's the case, we might have a little bit of extra spending money, and I would like to put that into something that's actually going to be useful towards the farm. Let me know down in the comment section, guys, if we should put some money into this 850 and get it nice and clean and really start representing the farm with what the old school can really do. By the looks of it on our fuel gauge, we are running low on fuel, and I bet I'm going to probably need to service this thing again, too, because, it's just been running non-stop since hay season's been going. Now, let's get in the swather. I'm telling you what, though, this Andy Clean soap is definitely some good, clean fun. I tell you what. I myself really want to try and use it while I wash my Impala next, which I'm going to definitely make a little short out of that. I swear, I just haven't had much time myself to take to really go out and get my own Impala that I bought for trade shows to get it clean. I really like to keep my stuff in good, clean condition. So thank you, Andy, for helping me out with getting this fantastic soap here on the farm. I really appreciate it. But now that we have the whole fleet here washed up and ready to go, I say we get into some beans. Now, I've gotten word that Daryl is ready and set to go with the case, so we're just going to pop over here to our 2 Parker gravity wagons, get these 2 things attached, and I need to take off that top piece of the drawbar. I can't remember exactly what that's called, but we don't need them for this gravity wagon setup. We just need the drawbar. It's like a safety hitch or something. But we're going to run over to those fields, and we're going to get the Mavic out, and we'll let Daryl start plucking away with the beans. So we are going to let Daryl fill up the rest of that combine with the beans in this field, as I'm pretty sure that hopper will not fill up the remainder of my back wagon. I've been wrong before. We're going to ring up here to Daryl quick, let him know that we're going to go and dump the gravity wagons and that we will just be staying over there, and we'll let him finish out the rest of this field. And let's get these soybeans dumped into our first bin. So this is the first grain of the season going in. I do want to hold on to this stuff for a little bit because prices themselves are not at their peak, of course. But $8 corn right now, of course, to real life, that's really good corn. But this is Farm Sim. I'm still on the hardest difficulty, just maybe not getting $16 corn. At least with our front hopper there, front wagon, I should say, emptied out. Let's just pull up. So rolling into the field over here now. It looks like Daryl might need to have at least one more unload done. But if that's the case, we'll send Corey out there. So I'm going to run into town quick with the 7.3. Daryl says he is good on fuel. Overall, I think we've spent just in upgrades and financings almost close to $25,000. So thank you guys so much for checking this one out. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. Also be sure to check out the rest of the Boomstick Club and the Old School Series playlist in the top right hand corner. You guys already know who's in that Boomstick Club, but that's going to do it for me, guys, as I need to rest my voice here. But we'll see you guys all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out. Peace.